Celtics take game one, 107-89. Good morning, Metroplex. Shout out to the 6 a.m. club. Thanks for waking up with us and turning it on, leaving it on. DFW Sports Station. Your game one feeling, if you can recall it, try to be honest, after the Clippers, were you like, uh-oh, I'm going to have to change my thoughts about the series? After OKC, compared to after this? Your own self-doubt, if you had it, with the series prediction that you made. Now, it was Mavericks for all of us. So how much you reassessing, if I could go back and change that pick with the first 3 game losses?
With OKC, I thought they were in trouble. With the Clippers, I thought they were in trouble after game one. Because, the Clippers didn't even have Kawhi now in game one.
That's right.
And Gafford looked terrified in that first game.
Yeah.
He did. He never played a playoff game before in his life, which, in a related story, I don't think he had.
Right.
So I definitely thought the worst after game one of those 2 series. So there's some hope. I think we're dealing with a different animal. Look, that's a good basketball team, and we could joke about their psyche, if they're soft or whatever. They got a lot of dudes that can put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
And the idea that Jason Kidd thought this was going to be about 2s and not 3s kind of blows me away, which they talked about on the broadcast last night. Oh, no.
What do you mean?
Because Kidd was like, this series is going to be, who makes the most 2s, not who makes the most 3s.
Oh.
That's what Redick said in the broadcast. And it's like, that's not the Celtics. The Celtics are just, they are chuckers. Holy cow, are they chuckers. They will throw everything up there. They're just like, give me a 3. Give me a 3 ball. Who's got it? Is it Hauser? Is it Brown? Is it Holiday? Is it
What did he say?
Tatum?
40. They threw up the stats. Something like 49% of their shots this year were 3s, which just seems impossible that it could be that much. But I will say this. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember exactly how I felt coming out of the OKC game. I know I thought they were screwed coming out of the Clippers game because I was like, they look like they've quit. But they trailed by 25 against the Thunder, and they trailed by 29 against the Clippers in the first game. So, first game of the series, they've trailed by 25 plus against the Clippers, Thunder, and the Celtics now. And so, I mean, this was similar to me to the Clippers game.
Pepe, are you really worried? Game one overreaction or not? You really worried after last night before game 2 Sunday?
No, because it's what the Mavs do in game one. In game ones, other than Minnesota, they lose game 1, they respond in game 2. This is a Mavs team that has yet to lose 2 in a row this postseason. I know the Celtics, no one's beat them at a set, 4 times in 7 games in the whole series, in the whole season, like Shan Grandy told us. But and the Tolos are feeling the same way throughout the postseason. 2-1-4. Wasn't worried about the Clippers at all. I was more worried about OKC than the Celtics. 9-0-3. LA and OKC, I thought they were in trouble. Not worried this series though.
I thought we were really in for a treat when I heard the crowd on Pat Doney's social media react to Kyrie being introduced. And I was like, okay, maybe Doney's just like way far up here, like Cooperstein, side note.
God.
Maybe Doney's just too far away. The acoustics are off. I'm like, that's kind of a weak Boston reaction. I was expecting a lot worse. And then when the game started and Kyrie caught the basketball, I was like, okay, we're good. Like, they're not as angry. Sean Grandy must have gotten through to them when he came on the show and said, let's be civilized, let's grow, let's mature. We had those meatballs on yesterday from Boston, kissing up to their home audience of, we hate his guts, and you guys are falling for his personality change, and he's going to screw you over just like he did here. He's got to placate. They got to placate their fan base. I thought it was a pretty weak, masshole crowd with a lack of venom, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious, Kyrie is going to be good to go.
Yeah, I think my guess is that as the series goes on, if the Mavs, if it's a tight series, it'll get worse.
Well, they started talking, like Luca's famous line, everyone talks when you're up. When they were up, then they started the chant of Kyrie sucks.
It was like 30-point lead, and that's when they started. I'll tell you.
They didn't drop like the Knicks fans, though, of F. Embiid.
No.
They didn't even drop an F-bomb in there with their chant.
No.
I'm like, we're winning.
If he would have, I think that crowd would have turned so quickly if that steal attempt Kyrie had right off the tip-off. If Kyrie steals that ball and scores, the energy changes really fast in that building.
He had a couple of those.
Yeah, the first, 3 times he was on the ball, he tried to steal it. Like, it was almost like it was the most I've ever felt like, at least defensively. I don't know about offense, but on defense, it felt like Kyrie was pressing early. Like, want to make a play. Like let's make a big splash play. Let's take the ball. Let's turn it around.
877-881-1053 is the Franklin Franco injury attorney text line. Here's Kyrie being asked if he thought it would be worse from the crowd.
No, I mean, it's basketball at the end of the day. You know, being in this environment, I'm used to it at this point. You know, early in my career, there was a different relationship that I had with Boston, just being able to come here, be settled with a veteran group. Now I'm here as the veteran. Over the past few years, just experiencing the playoffs here, even regular season, it's been the same thing. I thought it was going to be a little louder in here, but I'm expecting the same things going into game 2. Crowd trying to get me out of my element, my teammates out of my element. But again, the energy's got to be focused towards the game. I felt like I had a lot of great looks. They hit back rim, or they were just a little left or right. So I just got to stay confident and stay poised throughout this, man. This is the best time of the year to be playing. It's only 2 teams left. Let's put it in perspective. So the environment's going to be what it is, but my focus is on our game plan and making sure my guys feel confident and I feel confident, and continue to shoot great shots.
Were you guys more thinking to yourselves, he's rattled or he's just off?
He's just off.
I thought he was off. I thought he was just kind of putting a little too much on himself. It didn't feel like it was rattled. It felt like, ooh, I want to make a play, and it was just almost trying to.
Because he's my number one Maverick disappointment from last night, and it's not even
100%.
Sure, absolutely. But that, like you said, that crowd wasn't rattling.
Yeah,
he's had much worse. He's had much worse there.
What was the? What is the meaning behind? He walked into the arena last night holding a basketball.
Be careful when you ask the meaning behind anything Kyrie does.
He's holding the basketball walking into the arena last night and like dribbling it in his suit, like walking into the arena. And then he sat down at the podium last night. He brought a basketball with him and had it in his lap.
Maybe that's
bringing a kid. He's bringing their kids up there.
No, it's like the basketball version of like having to carry around a football if you're fumbling.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of those dribble turnovers, which he had again last night.
He had it. Okay, so he had a travel, which counts as a turnover, but he had 3 turnovers in the game, which means he just had 2 that were from handling. When I just saw that in the box score, I was like, it felt like he had 9 turnovers last night.
Now, Shaquille O'Neal would say, bad players. They don't have 2 bad games in a row. This is Kyrie throughout the playoffs after a bad scoring game for him. He had 14 against the Clippers. He bounced back in the clincher with 30. He had 9 against OKC. Came back with 22 points. Then he had 9 again in game 4. He only came back with 12. And then after scoring 12, he scored 22. So there were a couple of clunkers, multiple clunkers in the Thunder series. Against Minnesota, he scored 16 in game 4. Game 5, the clincher, 36, along with Luka's 36. So that is the first thing Shaq would say. What's Kyrie going to do? Bad superstars don't have 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah, and this was a struggle early on. It wasn't just Kyrie early. Luka did not play well early on either. And I did think, man, when he hit that 3 and cut it to 8, I was like, okay, here it is. Something clicked with him. Somebody woke him up, and he had a couple instances where after he made a shot, he looked at somebody and kind of nodded. Yeah. I was like, okay, he's awake. Here it comes. And then it just, the lively travel, which at some point, like at what point are you allowing the guy to have room to move though, or to like even pivot is the thing to me is God, that Bobby, I'm not saying
you were crying about the referees early on. I was so glad that my phone was away from me because it was already 9 texts later and I couldn't go back. I can't reply to the iPhone, non-iPhone, like individual text. No, but you were like, oh, the refs are doing
sucked.
This and that.
They got beat down. The Mavericks sucked. They got beat down last night. The reality is though, early on, there was a bunch of those plays at the rim where Boston didn't get whistled for it. Like Dallas was trying to get to the rim and make things happen. They were bad calls early. Like that's just the case.
You can reply now.
I can?
Yeah. You can go. Yeah, they've changed it up, so now you can just hold it down and then hit the reply button.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
Nice.
What a game changer.
You are such a cult member, Chop. in
no,
general.
it's-
Like you'd be like, yeah, Jim Jones, I see what you're saying. Yeah, let's all be part of this mass thing.
I mean, if it tastes good, I'll try it. But like, yeah, it's fine.
I'll take the blue Kool-Aid, not the red.
It's good that they opened it up. They finally opened. I think it's what's called RCS now. It's not iMessage.
What about the refs?
The refs put the refs as reason number 26 they lost last night.
I didn't say it was reason number one, but they were bad early on. They were not.
No,
they were not letting them get into the game.
Give me two plays.
The first 3 times they drove to the rim.
Who was driving?
You had Josh Green on one. You had Luke on another. Kyrie on another.
They got hit and fouled.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, look, I would say this.
Lowest common denominator fan.
Yes. Anybody who complain, if you complain about the umps and the refs, you're not my kind of fan.
877-881-10. Are you just going to Kermit T it? That's it?